Bienvenue and welcome to today's United Kingdom talk. My name's Chris Reardon, back at home now here in the Mirrorball studios after my rather nice visit to my sisters last week. Oh, I did have such a nice time. Unfortunately, I ate all the wrong things as I always do when I was there. Oh, bless me, Suko, for I have sinned. We haven't done that one for a while, have we? Eh? Oh, yeah, I'm afraid, especially the trip to the cinema with my nephew Jimmy, where we had ice creams and packets of Maltesers. There were, during the few days that I was there, what else was there? There was chocolate biscuits, there was crisps. She did make some marble cake, but I'm not keen on that. And far too much meat. My sister does cook well, but she puts so much meat on the plate, and I eat very, very little meat. Very little. Once if you invite me round to dinner for roast beef, then we like. You can do if you want to. Oh, I'm always up for a free meal. You know that, eh? But please, fill up the plate with potatoes and vegetables. Yes, potatoes and vegetables. Let me think. But not too much meat, please. All right? If you don't mind. Just in case you want to invite me around, I'd be pleased to attend and speak at your dinner. That's what I could do after dinner speeches. I mean, you wouldn't need to pay me any money, just a nice slap-up meal. Thank you very much, with a cup of tea as well. Some people always, they find it rather unusual that I should have tea with dinner, but I do. Must have a cup of tea with all meals. Thank you very much. So I did have a lovely time at my sister's, and I'm back home now, and here we are. And today I've done away with my usual. Usually I'll sit in here and I'm wearing a freshly ironed shirt. But today we're very casual. I've got a t-shirt on today, but the reason I've got a t-shirt on is because it's Suko in New York, who's back in New York now. She bought this for me all the way from New York, and it says New York on the front there. And there's what's the pictures of some flowers. There's the Empire State Building and another building now. I'm not quite sure what that one is. So thank you very much for my T-shirt, Suko. But that is not all Suko bought me over from New York. Oh no, there were other gifts as well. Gets the bag. Just a minute. I've had to. She bought in this rather nice bag, which I've had to put into a plastic carrier bag as well because it was wet. Do you remember I told you in the last show we got caught in a real downpour in London last week? Well, the bag got wet and it's a paper bag, so it's got broken at the bottom, so I had to put it in a plastic one. American. What does it say? American. Something on the bag. It says American. Well, I don't know. Because whatever idiot designed this bag has seen it fit to put a picture over the writing. So I don't know what that says. I can work out it says American, and then it's EA. EA, and then I think the next word is outfitters, but I've no idea what that second word is. They've put a blooming picture over the word. Such stupidness. But the other thing Suko kindly sent over were... Oh, Bush's baked beans. Not one can. Not 2 cans. But 3 cans of Bush's baked beans. Because I haven't had breakfast today. It's going to be a bit of a brunch today, I think. Which I shall eat with a piece of cheese. Probably. And possibly some, what are they called now? Some scrambled eggs as well. So thank you very much for those, Suko. I do quite like Bush's beans. I don't think we can get them here. I've never seen them in the shop here anyway. And she also gave me a couple of a CD and a DVD. So thank you, Suko. One of which is her daughter, Jade, who is dancing. Yes, Jade's dance competition. So thank you for those. Jade is Suko's daughter, and she's a very good dancer, actually. I met her as well. And she was very tired, weren't you, my darling? You were very tired on your visit to Pizza Hut. And here is the ticket for The Lion King, which I went to see last week. A lovely time we had. Thank you, Suko. But is this right, Suko? You've been on the phone to James Dean. telling him that you had a better time in Manchester with him than you did with me in The Lion King. Is that right, dear? And Pizza Hut? Well, thanks very much, dear. Well, I don't think I'll be meeting any more listeners or viewers after that remark, dear. Do you think it's some sort of competition between me and him? It isn't a competition because I am always better. So there is no competition. And you have to understand that, dear. All right? Now, did I tell you about the visit to church last week? I did. I told you I wanted to go to a Latin Mass. I can't remember if I've told you what happened when I went. Anyway, this church was in Reading. And what was the name? I think it was St. William's Church in Reading. And I noticed there that there's very few Latin Masses now in the UK. But I remember Latin Mass when I used to go to St. Joseph's Church in Roehampton. They had a Latin Mass there. But it was there was a lot of music. There was a lot of Latin. There was a bit of English. And it was a little bit longer than a normal Catholic Mass. It was about an hour and a quarter altogether. But very nice. And that's how I remember it. So I thought I must try a Latin Mass, and I looked it up on the internet, and I found there was one in Reading. Now, there were a couple in London, and this one was in Reading. So I went down there last week. It was at 11 o'clock. So I got to the church, and it wasn't that busy, actually, about a third full. And they were getting things ready, lighting candles and things like that. I got there quite early, about 20 to 11. And the Mass started. And I know you're not supposed to go to church for the music or to see people or anything like that. You know, you're supposed to go to worship. But the music does help. Well, unfortunately, there was no organ at all. There was a lot of chanting. Now, I do like Gregorian chants, but that's not what I expected. And it was high. It was, what was it? Well, there was no hymns. There were no hymns or anything like that. And it was so solemn. It really was ever so solemn. No one was smiling. The altar boys were sitting there all properly. And to be honest, it was a bit heavy going. And if I tell you, you know, it got to, if you're Catholic, you'll know what I mean by this. It got to 10 to 12, and he'd only just finished the sermon. And it went on and on and on. And there was just no organ. The only time you heard an organ was when he played two notes so that the choir were in tune. I mean, I had a choir there, and, you know, the singing was all right, but there was no organ. And it wasn't like at all the Mass that I used to go to at St. Joseph's Church in Roehampton, because they don't do Latin there anymore. And I have to say I was a bit disappointed. But I'll try another one. There's a couple of churches in London that do Latin Mass. One is St. Bede's. Well, there's a few. The only two I know about at the moment are St. Bede's, which is in Clapham. I may try that one this weekend, or maybe next weekend. I'm very busy this weekend. Although that, you know, shouldn't stop you going, but there we are. St. Bede's in Clapham, Bedes. They do have a website. Have a little look at that, okay? St. Bede's Catholic Church in Clapham. And the other one is my old school church, the Brompton Oratory, which is in Knightsbridge, very, very close to Harrods. So I might try that one as well. The only thing is, of course, both of these churches are in London, and they will take time for me to get to them. And that's the only thing. But, you know, if it's a nice Mass, then I'll travel. I don't know what it's like kind of parking in Knightsbridge on a Sunday. I would imagine it's quite busy. Because a lot of shops are open now, of course, aren't they? I mean, years ago, you wouldn't have shops open on a Sunday. And I suppose, whether it would have been easy or not to park. But I'm a bit worried about parking if I go to these places in London on a Sunday. But we will see. So there we are. That was my experience of the Latin Mass. That is not a criticism at all of the church in Reading. It's just, I just found it a bit heavy going. And some people like that. I was surprised that there were quite a lot of children in there for the Latin Mass. That did surprise me. I didn't think there'd be many children, but all in all, there were quite a few. So there we are. I'll let you know how the ones go in London, okay? Now, we're going to go straight on to emails today because we've built up a little bit. seeing as I was away at my sister's. Or one of the other things I bought while I was at my sister's house, my nephew Gary, he works in a butcher up there, and the butcher sells all sorts of things apart from meat. They do these cheeses, and they were hard cheeses, and they had different flavours. They had mango, and I bought mango. I bought smoked apple, and another one. What was the other? I think the other one was apricot. So I bought 3 different types of cheeses while I was up there, and they weren't over expensive as well. So I shall have a little taste of those. And what I might do is have them with baked beans. Yes, I'll do that. After I finish doing the show today, when I have my breakfast, I shall have those new cheeses, or one of the bit of one of the cheeses with the baked beans, and I shall let you know how that goes. All right. Now, I've kind of come back, and I've noticed there's an email here that we half read a couple of shows ago, and I have a feeling I haven't done the rest of it. So I'm sorry about that. Apologies to Maureen, the gorgeous Maureen, who writes from Spain in Torrevieja. Maureen, can you do me a favour? You have done it this time, of course, but can I ask you, because you've done it here, thankfully, to always write Torrevieja as it sounds? And then, because sometimes people, what they do, they start writing the emails about how, you know, the first email will say where they are, the name of the place, or if they have a foreign name, and then they will put in brackets how it should be said, perhaps in English. But after a couple of emails, they don't put that anymore. Can you always put that? Otherwise, I'm dreadful, dear. Pronunciation. That's why I can't be a BBC newsreader, lovey. I can't do foreign names. I don't have the foreign tongue too well. Okay? Now, Maureen was saying about buying a place in Spain. We were discussing this quite a few shows ago now, about 5, 6 or 7 shows ago now. And I said that we often hear stories here in the UK of people that have bought retirement homes to Spain and have sunk their life savings into these places, only to have the Spanish authorities take them back, or at least take a lot of the land that they bought back because it's been sold illegally. Now, Maureen is one of those people. No, sorry, she's not one of the people that has had her land taken back. She is one of the people that has indeed moved over to Spain, and they've put all their money into their place in Spain. And I was saying, you know, Spain, it does appeal to me, actually, Spain. Can you imagine, those of you here in the UK, or anywhere cold, Iceland, Robert in Iceland, can you imagine never being really cold again? I mean, you know, Spain does have winters, but they don't have ice on the ground. Not that we don't have that much anymore either. Certainly in the 70s, in the 1970s, there would be ice, literally ice on the ground for weeks on end, and snow. Well, in Spain, they don't have any at all. So yes, it does get colder, but it doesn't get freezing cold like it does for some of the months here in the UK, or a couple of months sometimes. It isn't as, I mean, it's nowhere near as cold as it was in the 70s, but it's, you know, it's colder than Spain. And one of the options I thought was perhaps when I retire, if you ever retire from doing this sort of thing, I don't think you do. You only retire if you want to. I mean, this isn't the things I do. I'm a DJ. I do karaoke. I do this. Although this is all unpaid. I do this because I enjoy it. It'd be nice to be paid, but that's the way it is. You know, I'm quite happy to do these shows and sit here and have a bit of a chat with you. It's just like having a few... Oh, someone at the door. Who's going to be at the door today? That's really inconvenient in the middle of a show. Can you hang on a minute? Let's see who that is now. Back in a minute. Stay there now. Oh dear. Oh, it's another one of those damn salesmen. Oh, now my Union Jack's fallen down as well. It's all temporary here, you know. 1 minute. Oh. Don't you hate that? I get fed up with salesmen knocking on the door all the time. I saw his bit of paper, Zenith Windows. I mean, hasn't he looked? I've got double glazing. As soon as I opened it, I was rude. Oh, I'm afraid I was rude. I opened the door. Oh, hello. I said, no, I don't want any, and closed the door. That's bad, isn't it? But they get on my nerves, especially when I'm here trying to talk to you. You know how it is when you're out somewhere and you're trying to talk to a friend and someone butts in? Well, that's how it is to me. Oh, it does annoy me. Anyway, can we get back to the story? Thank you. Yeah, one of the things that's appealed to me perhaps is possibly retiring to somewhere like Spain where, you know, it's not freezing. Yes, it is colder in the winter, but it's not freezing cold for a long time. Maureen has done this. She's over there and has been there for a while. So I'll pick up from halfway through the email. Actually, do you think I should just read the whole thing? I think I might just read the whole thing again, because I'm sure that we've missed some of this out. Okay. She says, regarding the land grab issue which you asked about, I know there's a lot of people, British and Spanish, and people from other countries still fighting for their properties over the land grab issue. But I don't think there'll be any new problems regarding land grab because the EU is threatening to withdraw grants that Spain receives from the EU. And believe me, that is a lot of money. Yeah, I mean, you know, can you just imagine sinking your entire life savings into a property somewhere and having it taken? And you've got no redress. No money back, nothing. You just have it taken off you. It's a terrible, terrible thing. And this is what would put me off moving out somewhere like that. I'll go quickly through the bit of the email that I think I've already read. She says, to try and ensure we wouldn't have the same problem with land grab, we got a house on an urbanisation housing estate, which was long established and already built, which had its own infrastructure, drains, sewers, electricity and portable drinking water, street lighting, good roads, for which the council had assumed responsibility for the maintenance of roads, paths and sewers. So far, in the 2 years we've lived here, there's not been a hint of a problem from the authorities, apart from, that is, having to pay utility bills, which is something we all have to do. Why is there a problem? You say there's a problem paying utility bills. Why is that? Can you enlighten me on that further, please? And she says, unfortunately, many British people come over here, let the sunshine rot their common sense. In the UK, they wouldn't dream of buying a house without planning permission and without using a solicitor. But in many cases, they have just done that here. Hire the solicitor. In other cases, some Brits have taken all the... Here's the worrying bit. Some cases... Brits have taken all the necessary actions, hired a solicitor, got all the authorisations to go ahead, but the paperwork issued by town halls was not genuine, as it was issued by corrupt officials. Terrible, I know, but all public bodies everywhere are susceptible to corruption. Just look at the UK Parliament. Well, we know about that. But I have to say, Maureen, I've never ever heard of anyone in this country buying a property and then finding that the papers were not correct, or they've paid someone an awful lot of money in a council and then suddenly realise that actually they don't own that piece of land. I've never heard that happening here, but I've heard it happening many, many times in Spain, and that's kind of what puts me off doing something like that. Let's have a look. Right, here we go. Now, this is the bit where I don't think I've read yet. My advice to anyone is, this is if you're buying a house in another country, do yourself a favour and buy an established home which is near shops, clinics and hospitals, but which is away from the main roads in an area which is pretty and quiet. That's what we want, isn't it? Pretty and quiet. I got to say, I like peace and quiet now. I do. Although I'm a DJ and I do the karaoke, right? Very, very, very rarely do I have music on in this house. I like to sit there, certainly in the garden, listening to the birds singing, or the peace and quiet of the wind rustling through the leaves outside. Got to be an age thing, isn't it? Maureen says, that's what we bought into. At least here, Spain, unlike the UK, it's unlikely that we will have bought a house which is over a disused rubbish dump or a floodplain. Yeah. Oh, they're dreadful for building houses on floodplains. And the builders, and they let them do it. This is what gets me, they let them do it. I suppose once the house is built and sold, then that's it, the builders walk away and that's the end of it, is it? I don't know how that works. But yeah, I mean, wherever you are in the world, I just would never buy a house on a floodplain. It's all very well people say, oh yeah, but it only floods once every 100 years. Do you know what it's like to be in a flood? I mean, I don't. I've been lucky. I've never been in a flood. But can you just imagine being in your house and watching water pour into it? Forget the fact that you're insured. Insurance is just the money, and that's if it pays out. You know what these insurance companies are like. It's all very well getting the money to have things repaired, but then you've got to have them repaired. Can you imagine the mess and the weeks, possibly months of misery? Why that house dries out and they have to start cutting bits out of the plasterboard because the bad water sunk into that, throwing throwing away all your carpets. All the units that were sitting on the floor, anything that has been caught up by the water. Because let me tell you, it's not clean water that floods your house. What do you think comes down? Water out of the tap? No, dear. It comes out of the sewers, yes. And you know what's down there? Oh, it begs belief thinking about it, doesn't it? Oh, bleh. Oh dear. You got your own stuff coming up out of the toilet, along with all your neighbours, flooding your house. It's got to be one of the worst things. I would never, ever buy a house on a floodplain. Not even if a builder says, oh, it only floods once every 200 years. Yeah, you know it'd be your luck, don't you? It would be your luck to buy that house and the next week it would flood. I just wouldn't do it. And it annoys me why builders are allowed to build this, and I'm sure there are probably one or two builders watching now. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I see the telly, mate. I see these people flooded in their houses on the telly, and it's just terrible. It really is an awful thing. Never, ever buy a house on a floodplain. I don't go care how cheap, and don't, they're probably, oh, it's 20 grand cheaper. Oh yeah, that's because it's built on a floodplain. Well, you'll be lucky if they tell you. Just use your common sense. Have a look around. Is there a river close by? Or even, is there a stream? Right? Because you can be caught out. It might be a tiny little stream going along the bottom of your garden. But sometimes even they overflow. And a tiny stream can become enormous. Right? Please don't buy a house on a floodplain. Maureen goes on to say, there's a problem with buying houses everywhere. So wherever you want to be and live, be careful when buying. And never buy off plan. Builders can go bust and you will have lost everything. Yes, I heard of that one. Buying off plan. That means the house is not actually bought, but you get a picture of where it is and all that, and you buy the picture. You buy you buy the house with the picture on it, or the picture with the house on it, and they say, well, when that's built, that's yours, and you pay your money and that's it. Well, sometimes builders go bust, so you've paid your money and halfway through it, bang, bingo, no house, mate, and no money. Please be careful if a house is such an investment. People take risks. I don't get it. Why would you want to risk, probably, highly likely, that it's going to be your biggest ever outlay, isn't it? Maureen says, however, a big plus point about living in Spain is its healthcare system. It really is second to none. We have a lot of Brits over here boasting about the National Health Service and how wonderful it is. Unfortunately, from our experience and to the experience of many other Brits living here, this is just not true. Well, I have to say, where's my pen? There it is. I've got to say, My experience with the National Health Service has been good up to now. You know, if I've had something go wrong or whatever, then I've been looked after. There's been a couple of incidents. I had the nurse from hell, really, when I had my burst appendix about 10 years ago. What hospital was that? That was at, I can't remember now. The one in Slough. Wexham Park Hospital in Slough. There was one nurse in there. She was like one of those in charge. She was horrible. She was horrible, she was. You know, I remember I'd fought, just as the appendix burst, it burst on the way, while I was on my way to the toilet. It's all right, nothing comes out. It's an internal thing. Well, if it had come out, then it would have been all right, but it doesn't. It stays in you, and that's where you're starting to lose your life, basically. And I remember falling on the floor, and I reached out to her, say, "Oh, can you help me out?" "No, we're not allowed to touch anyone." You know, she was awful. Absolutely. I should have written a letter about her. She was the nurse from hell. But apart from her, you know, I've had fairly good experiences with the NHS. Maureen says, there are so many British people who have come to live over here that have subsequently learned that the British health system did not diagnose a serious health condition that they had before leaving the UK, and have found that they have been living with a serious disease for years. My husband is a case in point. He had several checkups with the company that he worked for, the NHS, and a well-known British private healthcare company did those checks. None of them diagnosed that he had a heart problem. Within 6 months of arriving here in Spain, he was having serious problems with his health, and the doctors here in Spain were simply disgusted that it hadn't been diagnosed. Many, many other Brits have had the same experience here. There are too many occurrences of this sort to be a coincidence. I seriously wonder whether this is a deliberate policy on the part of the British government. The money saved on diagnostic equipment would pay for the cleaning of a lot of moats and phantom MPs' mortgages. Well, yeah, I mean, you could be right there. Allegedly, couldn't you? Thanks to the Spanish health service, my husband was sent to a private hospital in Benidorm, where he received really wonderful care in a hospital which was on par with the public hospitals here in Spain. It was spotlessly clean, and the nurses were friendly and efficient, and he was allowed his own mobile phone, although mostly he wasn't in a position to use it as a result of the after effects of the operation. Thanks to the Spanish healthcare system, which is called the Salud, S-A-L-U-D, I think that's how you say it, I still have a husband. On the whole, in spite of currency fluctuations, our biggest bugbear which is our biggest bugbear here in Spain, life is pretty good, and we are living life on our British pensions that we could not afford in the UK. Only downside is I love gadgets and I don't have the selection that I would like, so I'm forced to save the money instead. I thought you would approve. Yes, I do. Save that money. Oh, surely, I mean, what do you mean you can't get the gadgets? Do you mean in the shops around there, Maureen? Because surely you could you not shop online and just have stuff delivered from somewhere else to your place in Spain? Surely that's a viable option, isn't it? I think you've got the same voltage as us, haven't you? 240 volts, is it there? I don't know. And she says, by the way, I am the Christopher Reardon of emails. My emails do tend to get longer and longer. I'm aiming to make one of my emails take 57 minutes to read. Do you have the stomach for it? Yes, I do. Send it through, dear. Send it through. Don't be shy about that, my love. Thank you, Maureen. There is another email here from Maureen somewhere. Let me see. Shall we do that one now? No, actually, let me do some others, and we'll do you either one if I have time near the end of the show. We'll carry it over a show like we like to do, okay? Thank you very much to Lisa. Hello, my Lisa, who sends us information on a book was we were talking about electromagnetic radiation, and a few of you sent in suggestions on books about this if anyone's worried. And the one she says, Electromagnetic Fields, a consumer's guide to the issues and how to protect ourselves. So I might order that one. Thank you very much, Lisa. Let me know. Shall I just order this? We do like a little bit of a read. I bought another book while I was at my sister's, actually, which I've only got through the first page, and it's about, what's it called? Blood, Sweat, and... Oh, what's it called? I think it might be called Blood, Sweat and Tears. Or Blood, Sweat and Tea, I think. It's Blood, Sweat and Tea. And it's about this bloke who used to work on one of the ambulances here in the UK. And it tells you all about his life and the call-outs. It's more like a diary. Apparently this guy's got a blog as well. So I'll let you know a little bit more about that when I've started reading it, okay? Hello to Amy. Hello, Amy. That's Joe's wife from AmericanTalkUSA.com, one of our sister podcasts. Do you like that? The sister podcast. AmericanTalkUSA.com. Amy is Joe's wife. And this has already happened now, Amy. But she did write, Chris, I've just heard the news that Suko and her family are taking you to see the Lion King. Well, it's all happened now. Yes, they did. Congratulations. How exciting. I just have one little question, she says. What are you going to wear to the theatre? No tracksuit bottoms are allowed. You must look fabulous for your big night out. From fashion expert to the stars, Amy Morris. Thank you, Amy. Well, and she sent another email after that. Dear Chris, I hope this helps. Now go shopping, dear. I have sent pictures for suggestions. I know you will look hot. I think so too, Amy. She knows I will look hot. And she sent me pictures of, number one, Brad Pitt in a rather dashing jacket and a shirt. Although I have to say, Brad's looking a little bit past it now, isn't he? I did used to fancy him. I fancied him in that film, The Fight Club. Do you remember? Did you see that? A bit violent. That one, but he looked very nice in that. But she also sends me a picture. Oh, look at him. Cristiano Ronaldo in a jacket and he looks delicious. Cristiano Ronaldo in a lovely jacket and tie and shirt. And quite honestly, I don't know what he's doing with that Paris Hilton, dear. She'll take all his... I don't want any of his money. I don't want a penny. Just a date and possibly a bit more. How do I get hold of Cristiano Ronaldo? And look at his smile. Oh, don't you want to take those teeth out of his head and kiss every single one of them individually? Eh? Look at Cristiano Ronaldo on this piece of paper she sent me. Oh, God. Oh, I'm going to have to rest for a while now. It's all too much. It's all too much for a young man on an afternoon. Oh, I'm fanning myself now. I'm having a hot flush. I am having a hot flush. Paris Hilton, do me a favour, please. What can she do for him? Nothing. She's not interested. All she wants, I reckon, is the publicity. That's what it's all about. Cristiano, if you come round here and see me, not a single one of the papers will be informed. I promise you, cross my heart, that I will not sell our story to the news of the world. It will be ours, secret, and that's it. Until you want to bring me out to your family. Oh, I can see that happening. Cristiano Ronaldo, after a few dates, says, would you like to... It got a foreign accent. Would you like to... I can't do a foreign accent. Would you like to meet my mama? No, that's very Italian, isn't it? He's Portuguese. But then I'd have to meet his family, which I'd be happy to do. You know, I would be happy to do that. I might even buy a suit for that. But I'm sorry, Amy, I didn't buy a suit for the Lion King. Now, Joe from AmericanTalkUSA.com, Amy's wife, they've both been having a go here. You know, both been informing me on what to wear for my visit to the Lion King. And Joe says, I've just heard you going to the theatre with Suko, the Lion King. No tracksuit bottoms are allowed. Oh, hang on a minute. That's Amy's one. Sorry, Amy. What am I doing? It's all too much. It's that seeing that. Oh, there he is again. Seeing that picture of Cristiano Ronaldo. Let me just kiss it. I could put the picture next to me, and then it would be like me and sorry, bad English there. It might be like Cristiano Ronaldo and I hosting United Kingdom Talk. Wouldn't that be great? Oh my God. Wouldn't that be fantastic? If he could sit here next to me, we could have one of those settees. Because, you know, I'm going to start converting the room next door to do the shows from in there. And I think I'm going to have a settee. And I wouldn't be able to keep my hands on. I'd be all over him, though, while the show was on, which probably wouldn't be a very nice sight for you, dear boys and girls. Well, I have to tell you that actually, for my visit to the Lion King with Suko and her husband Jerry and her daughter Jade, I went mad and I purchased, as you heard in the last show, a very expensive jeans. G-Star jeans, £90 for a pair of jeans, dear. And I wore one of my United Kingdom Talk shirts. The blue short sleeve, the white and blue, well, the white one, the white with blue checks, short-sleeved shirt. I wore that, so that's what I wore. And I thought I did look actually quite smart. £90 on a pair of jeans, Suko. Actually, I might take them back. Could I take them back and get a refund now I've worn them once? What do you reckon? They do fit me quite well, but they're... And I did tell you this on the last show. There are 36 waists, you know. Terrible, isn't it? 36 waists they are. Who ate all the pies? Who ate all the pies? You fat person, who ate all the pies? 36 waists. Actually, I haven't weighed myself since I got back from my sister. I bet that's gone up again now. Dear me. Never mind. Hello to Nathan. Hello, Nathan, who says, I'm back on board, watching your shows, and I'm no longer doing radio myself. Yeah, Nathan used to do his own radio shows. He watches. Yes, you can watch as well as listen to this show. If you've never watched, go on, treat yourself to My Little Face. Hey, treat yourself to My Little Face, and you can watch them by going to the main United Kingdom Talk website, unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. All right, unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. I'm finding myself enjoying your shows all the more since I stopped doing radio myself. Weird, eh? Why is that then? How strange. Why? I love Katie, your cat. Oh, you mean in the little film at the beginning? Yes, she makes an appearance there. We've got to redo that film because it's not in the correct format, I'm afraid. You may notice, those of you that watch the show may notice that the beginning film is smaller than the rest of the show. And the end film is not in widescreen either. It's all got to be all in time. Don't rush me, I keep telling you, dear. I can't do everything at the same time. Don't rush me. I have 2 mini cats. They grow no bigger than kittens, brother and sister, and I just love the way that I can pick them up and cuddle them. Oh. The bigger most cats get, you can't do that as they run off. Yeah, well, I mean, Katie doesn't usually run off. She likes a bit of a cuddle, Katie. She was all over me when I came back from my sister's because she hadn't seen me for 3 days and she was looking after the house for me. Oh, don't worry, she doesn't starve. I've got an automatic cat timer. Yes? Cat feeder timer. Not a cat timer. An automatic cat feeder. Yes, and you can fill up to 4 days' worth of food in it. So that was all right. And look, several bowls of water, although they never all go. Your garden is A1. I share mine. I may add a fake lamp post as my bit to the garden. Good to have you on the MP3 player again, Chris Hum. Thank you, Nathan. I don't know about. What do you mean a fake lamp post? You mean with no lamp in it? Oh, no, that would be dreadful. You've got to put a lamp in it. What about... Oh, I mean, I was going to say to you those solar ones, but they're pretty poor. They're pretty poor, those solar ones, unless you just... Hang on a minute. Let me just have a bit of a cough. 1 minute. That's better. You didn't hear me then, did you? Oh, no, I like to turn the microphone off if I'm going to have a good old cough. I mean, if you just want a bit of a glow, you could get one of those solar ones, but they're not very bright at all, those solar lamps. Bit of a waste of money, I think. Don't buy solar lights. But if you just want to glow, you could have one of those. You can't just have a lamppost that doesn't light up, dear. That looks stupid. That's like having plastic flowers. Oh, I hate those. Oh, God. You see them at cemeteries, don't you? Plastic flowers. And they are awful. They are the absolute total top of my tackiness list. Plastic flowers, even worse than that, plastic plants. They've got one in doctor's surgery down the road. Great big plastic thing. They look horrible things. Why would anyone ever want plastic plants, dear? And Nathan says, I thought you handled the topic of enemas very well. I would have started laughing, but that's the level I work on, I'm afraid. Oh, dear. Well, I don't think it's a laughing thing. I very much doubt that people who have these enema holidays are laughing at the time that it's being done. All that stuff going up and then coming back down the tube. Oh, God. Down the tube. Blech. Oh. Blech. Hello to Kevin. Hello, Kevin. On the subject of Michael Jackson and enemas, he says, oh, you wonderful man. It's been a very strange week. I was with, and listen, now this has impressed me, Kevin. You've impressed me, boy. I was with Martha Reeves and Mary Wilson when we heard about Michael Jackson at Wembley. We had to get on a bus and back to the hotel. What do you mean you had to... Martha Reeves got on a bus? I can't believe that. Are you serious? Martha Reeves got... I can't believe that. Mind you, Nikki French goes on buses. And Nikki French is she's a big star at the Eurovision Song Contest. But I think... I know Nikki French won't mind me saying, but Martha Reeves is a huge megastar. And you got on a bus with her? You see, I love that. What's that song? Calling out a brand new world. Are you ready? Martha Reeves and the Vandellas. Dancing in the street. Oh, I love that. Love that. You know Martha Reeves and Mary Wilson. That is so exciting. Right, Kevin. A favour. Is there any chance that Martha Reeves would want to, and Mary Wilson would want to do a bit of a chin wag with me? Not so much an interview, you know. I don't think I really do interviews. I do chats. Like, I've had a couple of people around here doing a bit of a chat with me. Do you think Martha Reeves, huge megastar, international celebrity, someone who I love her music, would ever want to meet little old me in my tiny little room here and do a bit of a chat for a cup of tea and biscuits? Would she want to do that? That'd be fantastic. Or I could come to her in a hotel room somewhere. Kevin, there's a job for you to arrange, my friend. Hey? Maybe Martha Reeves would want to reform the Vandellas and I could be one of them. Dancing in the street. I've got tambourines. Look. I've got everything here. Yes. Ha ha. We got it all in. Hang on a minute. Let me see if I've got the backing for that. I might not have it. I can see if I've got the backing track to a dancing in the... Oh, no, actually. No, it'd be easy for me to just play the music, wouldn't it? If you want, you could send Martha Reeves the address for this show, right? Right, hang on, let me find it. There he is. Now, I've got Dancing in the Street, Forget Me Not, and Jimmy Mac. What one shall we do? Let's do Jimmy Mac. Jimmy Mac, right? I've also got my triangle here, but we won't use it for this. But unfortunately, I've lost the bit of string. Now, you need the bit of string on the triangle. Listen. Now, that is triangle being held with a bit of metal, and it doesn't quite work that. What you've got to do is hold it on a bit of string. Hang on, I've got a bit of wire here, or a mouse. And you'll hear the difference, right? Triangle hanging from a bit of wire. Listen to the tone. Listen now. Hear how it resonates. Huh? And holding it on the metal, it's very dull. You get a very dull sound. Here we go. Listen. Right. Doesn't work, does it? I don't know if it... Oh, that's weird. Look, it depends how you hold it. But I do have my tambourine here, and I do feel I could be part of the new Vandellas to perform with Martha Reeves. Here we go. Jimmy Mac. Jimmy. Oh, Jimmy Mac. I want you back. Jimmy Mac. Jimmy. Is that working? Oh, Jimmy Mac. When are you coming back? My arms are missing you. My lips feel the same way too. Shut up. I try so hard to leave you. Stop that. There we are. See, I mean, I've got the tambourine. Would she be interested? Come on, Kevin, get me a chat with Martha Reeves, eh? You know, if she wants to come round here, or I could go round there, dear. Oh, that would be marvellous. One of my idols. I can't believe you know Martha Reeves, dear. We need Martha Reeves on the programme doing a song. Better get back to the story, hadn't we? We had to get a bus back to that. I still can't believe she got a bus. Cold. Couldn't you got her a cab? I would have paid for a cab, dear. I know, me. Paying for a cab. I would have done it for Martha Reeves and Mary Wilson, dear. Mary went off with Leigh John and his friends, but returned early. We arrived the next day to Birmingham's NEC, and every TV station and radio network had someone there to ask questions. Now I'm back here because of the very, very sad news of Michael Jackson's death. She says, he says, now I'm back to my normal job. It's all downhill, and as you said in your show, I'm now thinking about living alone and my own death. Kevin's 47 and catching up with Michael Jackson. Well, I doubt that very much. You know, I don't think you'll die early. Why would you die early? Something went wrong there. Sounds like it was something to do with the prescription drugs, doesn't it? But whatever went wrong, you know, it's just... He shouldn't have died at 50. Michael Jackson, my hero. He says, anyway, I just loved your enema quotes and love you two. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Thanks for always putting a smile on my face. Well, I do try, Kevin. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's hard when there's people in clubs and they come out and they look as miserable as sin. Ooh. And you think, why have you even come here? Cheer up, dear. Cheer up. Hello to Chris, who says, how's it going? Sends this message via YouTube. I finally got into YouTube and I thought it'd be easier to see your shows on here. Check out my Michael Jackson tribute on my channel, and his channel is Scotty Jax. That's SCOTTYJAXX. I've recorded me playing Man in a Mirror. Hope you like. That's from Chris, so I'll have a little look at that. And he says, Grant's ex used to come down to Bingay in Ealing. I'm sure you remember. No, I'm just trying to think who you are, Chris. Because there's no picture of you on there. There's no profile picture. Where are you hiding, Chris? Thank you. Send me a picture. Do you know, I haven't done that today, given out the email address, have I? Pen's ready. If you ever want to join in, please feel free to do so. Hang on a minute. The email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. All right? Hello to Leigh last. Leigh, where have you been? You hide. Leigh says, hello Chris, long time no speak. He says, I wasn't a massive fan of Michael Jackson, but there's no denying the music he created was a legacy to many modern day performers and artists. I've done a talk show recently. I tried doing a talk show. It went good. Managed to get through the whole hour. But unfortunately, the recording of it messed up. So I haven't got a recording. So try another one soon. It was quite good. Still watching and listening to United Kingdom talk shows in between work and radio. And that's from young Leigh last. Well done, Leigh. Carry on, dear. Get those talk shows done. I want to listen to one. I want to listen to one. Who is it? Ah, here's someone we haven't heard from ages and ages. Ketan. Hello, Ketan. Where have you been? Another one disappears for weeks on end and you don't hear from him. Hi, Chris. Sorry I haven't written for a long time. I enjoyed your cooking show a few weeks ago, but I think you should have done your show us the end result. Ah, well, the show is only an hour long. That's the thing. And the cooking took longer than an hour, so that wasn't possible. Suppose I could have stopped the video. Don't know. There's a thought. Also, I have a few tips that might be helpful. I know you don't like salt in cooking, but you might want to try fresh or dry herbs with your veg. Now, there's a good idea, yes. You can buy herb de Provence, thyme, little rosemary or any herb you like, and it will add some much needed flavour to your dish. I will try that, actually. Okay. Also, try some mushrooms like portobello or shy take. Is that how you say it? Got to be careful how you say that one. It will add a nice little hearty flavour to your dish. White button mushrooms are rather bland in taste unless you saute them in butter and olive oil. Also, if you want to prevent your eyes from tearing when you cut onions, try breathing through your mouth and not your nose. Like that. But what if flies might fly into my mouth, dear? Horrible thought. I have included recipe for a nice salad and hummus. You can eat it with pita and keep it around the fridge. Hummus is a little fattening, but it's a good thing to keep around for now and then. Cheers, mate, from Ketan. And thank you for the recipe, but I hate hummus. Oh, it's vile stuff. Don't like it at all. I've tried that, so thank you for the recipe. But I won't be trying that one, my little friend, okay? I shall pass it on to my sister. You spent a lot of time doing that as well, haven't you? I can see that, yes. Spent a lot of time typing all that out. Thank you for the recipe, Ketan. But hummus is not for Chrissy Wissy. Not for me. It's Tom. Tom, who does his own podcast at TomHarrisUSA.com. Hello to TomHarrisUSA.com. Where have you been? Another one who's disappeared for a while. They all come back in the end, dear. They all come back in the end. Tom says, eBay stories. I used to do a fair amount of selling and buying on eBay. And most of the time, things went pretty smoothly. However, I have had problems a couple of times. In the first instance, I was given bad feedback by a buyer who bought a CD from me, yet couldn't seem to understand why I wouldn't ship it before receiving the cheque. This was despite the fact it clearly stated, very clearly in the auction, that I shipped the same day the payment cleared my bank. And he puts in brackets, usually I shipped as soon as I got the cheque, but this was a little suspicious, so I waited. As it happens, I was right not to trust him. The cheque bounced. He then proceeded to pay by money order, which did clear. But he gave me a bad rating anyway. Oh well. Oh, I shouldn't worry too much about it, dear. Some people are very funny, aren't they? And the fact that his cheque bounced, what a cheek. The other bad experience I had was as a buyer. I bought some uncleaned Roman coins from a seller, and when they arrived, they just didn't look or feel right. Actually, Tom, if you look at some of your Roman coins, you'll probably see my face on the back of some of them. I really am that old, Tom. It's true. On closer inspection, I quickly discovered that the coins they sent were counterfeits. They were modern fakes that were made of some sort of resin mixed with copper powder and then coated with clay and baked. Needless to say, I asked for a full refund. I should hope so as well, dear. What a cheek! Selling you incorrect items. I wasn't sure if it was a purposeful scam or if the seller has also been ripped off. So I wrote a letter. Remember those? Oh, we don't write letters anymore, do we? God. With a detailed explanation, attached a real, broken and worthless bronze coin for comparison and sent it along with the fakes back. Thankfully, I got my refund and he didn't complain that I broke one of his fakes in half to show that it wasn't really bronze. That was Tom. So, yes, I mean, you know, you've got to be careful of this stuff. When you're buying stuff from eBay, always have a look through the customer reviews part of it and make sure they've got 100%, or, you know, if they're not quite 100%, read into it. Why are they not 100%? It might be sometimes it might be someone who doesn't like them who give them a bad result, a bad review, you see. That's the other thing. That could happen as well, couldn't it? Finally, John in Daytona Beach, who I haven't heard from for a while as well. Hello, John, who says, "Hi, Chris, I've got a new mobile phone and was messing about with the web, but this phone's web browser is weak and it would not load the page. I can always use my regular computer, of course. Anyway, just thinking about you. Trust all is well. Bye for now." That's from John. Thank you, John. And nice to hear from you as well, sir. That's it for the show today. Don't forget my email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Thanks for watching and listening. See you on the next show. Bye-bye.